The pregnant widow moved into the abandoned church and heard a voice from the crypt. This is a true story, and every chilling detail I'm about to share unfolded exactly as I'm telling you in Chestnut Hollow, Vermont, during the winter of 2016. Before I continue this true supernatural account, subscribe to hear the full story that forever changed my understanding of life after death. The ancient, crumbling walls of that church were alive with whispers that seemed to seep from the very shadows themselves, calling my name in a lilting tone that felt both eerily comforting and deeply unsettling. As I walked through the nave, I sensed a sudden chill draft that enveloped me, and the unmistakable scent of burning incense filled the air. Though the church had been derelict for decades, my skin prickled as cold spots lingered around me, a constant reminder of the unseen presence that awaited in the crypt beneath my feet, while an ironic metallic taste of fear settled heavy on my tongue as I caught the trace of my husband's cologne in the stale air, reminding me of everything I had lost. With nothing but my dwindling savings and a growing child to protect after my husband's abrupt death, this forsaken church was my last chance for refuge. But I had no idea that the entity confined within those crypt walls sought to claim me and my unborn child as part of its dark history, one that might prove fatal if I failed to heed the warnings buried in its echoes. As I explored the church's desolate beauty, I felt an invisible weight settle over me, like an ancestral mantle of grief knitted into the very fabric of the place. It was as if the spirits of the past encircled me, hesitant yet eager for acknowledgement. Each echo of my footsteps reverberated against the stone, creating an unsettling symphony of sound and silence that made the hairs on my arms stand on end, a reminder of the restless souls intertwined with their earthly remains. I paused under the stained glass windows, the light filtering through them, casting eerie shapes on the cold, hard floor. They depicted scenes of hope and salvation, yet the muted colors felt hauntingly oppressive in the decaying space. With every breath, the scent of incense wrapped around me, evoking memories of happier times and spiritual gatherings. In those moments, I caught fleeting glimpses of my husband, his laughter, the warmth of his embrace. My heart ached with every recollection, a cruel reminder of our lost future. As I clutched my growing belly, another wave of grief washed over me, mingling with an unsettling awareness that I was not alone. The air thickened with magic or malice. I could not decide which, as a whisper slipped through the silence, threading through my mind like a gossamer spiderweb. "Help me," it seemed to say. But who or what was in need of help? Days turned to nights, and sleep became an elusive companion as the whispers morphed into nightmares that clouded my dreams. I woke each morning feeling as though I had been drawn into another realm, the energy of the church melding with my essence. I tried to dismiss them as figments of my imagination. However, they felt too vivid, too intense to ignore. I could see fleeting shadows that danced on the periphery of my vision, hear laughing children echoing through the empty corridors, and feel a constant stirring in the air, as if the church itself breathed along with me. Each rare ownership of a moment when I felt truly at peace dissolved into the realization that a profound sadness enveloped this place. I wondered, what tragedy had rooted itself deep beneath the altar? If you've ever sensed a presence in an empty room, you understand the chill that ran down my spine that night. The quiet stillness of the church turned ominous as I spotted a flicker of movement near the crypt. Was my mind merely playing tricks? Or was there indeed something lurking just out of reach? My heart raced as I approached the heavy wooden door, my breath quickening, fearing the unknown that lay ahead, but compelled by an inexplicable urge to understand the voice that called out to me, a voice that begged for acknowledgement and solace. When I finally made my decision to confront the entity, I felt as if I was stepping beyond the veil that separated our worlds. I lit candles along the nave, a blend of hope and dread bubbling within me. "What do you want from me?" I called out. My voice echoed through the empty grandness, swallowed by shadows. The air crackled with energy, An unexplainable tension enveloped me, urging my heart to pound faster within my chest. Was it fear or an invitation? The shadows danced closer, an intoxicating game of hide and seek. Yet they hesitated, teetering on the edge of revelation and despair. That night was just the beginning. Unknown to me, I was merely scratching the surface of a dark past that had seeped into the very stone of the church. Yet, I felt in my bones that the spirit's intentions were not malicious. It was something more, a fragment of unfinished business that lashed out in desperation, seeking resolution in its sorrow. As I conversed with the echoes of my surroundings, I sensed not a threat, but a kinship that called to the depths of my heart, intertwining our fates amid shadows and light. What lay beneath the altar was not just a remnant of despair, but a haunting connection, a voice filled with yearning, trapped within those crypt walls, whispering through time to remind me of my own journey, filled with both loss and love. Little did I know, as these revelations unfolded, I was walking on a precarious path entwined with the safety of my child and the spirit seeking peace, forever altering the course of our intertwined narratives. If you believe that some spirits are attempting to communicate rather than harm us, know that this journey had just begun, and the true nature of the entity awaiting me in the crypt would soon come to light. As the days turned into restless nights, I found myself ensnared in the church's web of sorrow and mystery. Each night was a melange of haunting dreams that intensified my reality, whispering secrets of the tragic past that wrapped its dark fingers around my consciousness. I needed to understand who or what was beckoning from the crypt, urging me toward some unforeseen fate. Feeling an unexplainable pull, I immersed myself in the church's archives, searching for remnants of forgotten histories and lost souls. Treasures of dusty manuscripts and crumbling photographs revealed echoes of despair, a mother forsaken by love, lost to time. It felt as if I were piecing together a fragmented puzzle. The picture of a mother who lost everything, torn apart by betrayal, would not let me go. It was clear that her spirit wandered this space, searching for solace as desperately as I sought to find her. One fateful day, I met Rebecca, a local historian who seemed to embody the soul of the town itself. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of wisdom and concern as I recounted my experiences. When I spoke of the female spirit and her longing, Rebecca nodded gravely, revealing that I was not the first to hear the echoes of that tragic past. "The church is steeped in sorrow," she said quietly. "A mother and her child lost to betrayal. She's still here, pleading for acknowledgement." My chest tightened at her words, the implications of her revelation sinking in deeply. "What happened?" I asked, my heart pounding in anticipation of the answer. "Her daughter was taken from her, stolen away by a jealous lover who could not bear the thought of losing her," Rebecca explained, her tone somber. "They say her spirit roams, unable to find peace, trapped between worlds until her child is found." A shiver crawled up my spine. Was my own desperation to find peace mirrored in this mother's plight? That night, I felt a mixture of fear and resolve wash over me as I returned to the church, ready to confront the spirit whose sorrow had become intertwined with my own. The familiar flicker of candles illuminated the solemn space. I took a deep breath and called out once more, determined to address the shadowy figure that had become a staple of my nights. "I hear you," I declared wholeheartedly, the resonance of my voice bouncing off the ancient stone walls. "What do you want from me?" The air thickened, anticipation crackling in the silence, urging me deeper into the realm of the unknown. The response was immediate, a gust of icy wind that swept through the church, while the familiar scent of incense wrapped around me like an invisible embrace. "Find my child." The voice echoed with a piercing urgency that reverberated through my very soul, urging me closer to the truth. Panic erupted within me. "No!" I shouted, my heart racing as the shadows moved closer. "I can't let you take mine." The shadows twisted in response, swirling around me in a dizzying dance of emotions, a potpourri of hunger and longing that resonated with my own maternal instincts, revealing a terrifying glimpse of a mother's desperate fight. In my quest for understanding, I wandered the church's hidden corners. Each shadow felt alive, urging me forward until I stumbled upon an alcove obscured in deep darkness near the altar. A sense of urgency tugged at me, an invisible force compelling me to reach out to the crypt's entrance. As my fingers brushed against the ancient stone doorway, a pulse of energy coursed through me. Did I just feel her, the mother spirit reaching out through time? "Help me!" The voice wrapped around me like a heavy cloak, its sorrow impossible to ignore. The weight of expectation pressed hard against my chest, stirring an innate protective instinct. I closed my eyes, feeling the shadow of the woman before me, equating my own fears with hers. I understood on some level. This spirit was beckoning for connection and healing. But could I risk my own safety and that of my unborn child? With my heart pounding, I stepped over the threshold, biting back my fears. Each step further into the crypt felt electrifying and perilous, every breath a reminder of the boundaries I was about to cross. The air felt thicker, a darkness wrapped around me, enveloping my consciousness in a relentless embrace. I understood then that I would either become the bridge this mother so desperately sought, or suffer the consequences of my empathy. "Please," I whispered against the dark, "I want to help you." The shadows pulsed in response, swirling like a living entity, and each flicker of candlelight painted fleeting images of grief against the stark stone walls. In that moment, I felt as though our fates were intertwined, a shared motif of love and loss binding us across the veil separating our worlds. What awaited me in the crypt would either heal the scars of a haunting past or shatter my own delicate existence. The distance between life and death blurred further as I prepared for the confrontation that would define not only my journey, but also that of the grieving spirit. This crypt held the key to our stories, a place where our lives could either merge into understanding or be lost in darkness forever. The unveiling of the tragic history binding our souls awaited just beyond the shadows, and I was determined to face it head-on for the sake of both our children. As I took my first steps into the crypt, the oppressive air thickened like fog rolling into a valley. Candlelight flickered helplessly, casting wavering shadows that twisted and crawled along the ancient stone walls. The deeper I descended, the more the air seemed to hum with sorrow. Each heartbeat echoed in my ears, a lonely drum, signaling my determination against the darkness that lay ahead. I don't know how long I walked before I came across the sarcophagus at the far end of the chamber. It loomed before me like a monument to despair, covered in intricate carvings of flowers, entwined with barbed wire, reminders of beauty and pain intertwined. The shadows seemed to pull away from the sarcophagus, as if they were fearful of this hallowed resting place. "Is this where you rest?" I asked softly, my voice trembling in the vast emptiness. "Did you call me here?" For a moment, silence reigned, thick and suffocating, as if the very stones were waiting, holding their breath. Then, the feeling washed over me. A familiar chill wrapped around me like a lover's embrace. She was here, and she was listening. The air shifted, a whisper like a cool breeze dancing through my hair. "Find her," the voice murmured, echoing all around me but emanating from the depths of my own heart. My chest tightened as a vision flooded my mind, a glimpse of a little girl with soft brown curls playing in a sunlit meadow. The image flickered like a dying ember, engulfed in shadow. "What do you want from me?" I implored, desperation cracking my voice. "I want to help, but I don't know how." My plea hung in the air, heavy with unanswered questions. Something inside me stirred, an intuition that urged me to search for meaning, to uncover the truth buried beneath the weight of the past. I turned my gaze back to the sarcophagus, brushing my fingers along the cold stone surface. It was smoother than I expected, almost like skin. An intense wave of energy radiated from the markings, sending prickles down my arms. I gasped as a vision flashed before my eyes. The mother clenching a small, worn piece of fabric, a faded dress belonging to her child. I could feel her panic, her desperation, as if her soul were breaking right before me. I needed to act. I had to find the child's spirit. I could feel the chasm of grief that separated them, a barrier of snow and ice that I couldn't bear to see anymore. "Show me," I whispered, my heart racing. "Show me where she is." Suddenly the shadows thickened, swirling around me until they formed a visible direction, gesturing towards a darkened passageway on the other side of the crypt. I hesitated, a knot of fear tightening in my stomach. The passage was tightly cramped and dimly lit, only a thin stream of light breaking through. The very nature of the shadows seemed to flicker with anticipation, feeding off my trepidation. Yet beneath my fear lay a spark of courage. If I did not step forward, how would she find peace? Breathing deeply, I straightened my spine and entered the narrow space. The chill intensified, wrapping around me like a shroud. I whispered reassurances to myself, the walls quieting my fears with every step I took deeper into the darkness. The lingering scent of decay danced with the lingering fragrance of wildflowers, reminding me of both beauty and despair. "Stay strong for her," I murmured, gratitude for the shared strength of motherhood weaving through my prayers. The path opened into a larger chamber, and my heart raced at the sight of what lay ahead. A crudely fashioned doll resting on the ground, its fabric worn and frayed, an eternal sentinel in this desolate space. It bore a striking resemblance to the little girl's dress from my vision. It was a relic, much like the spirit of the child, lost but never forgotten. Suddenly the air shifted sharply, and I felt the temperature drop. "Please, if you're here, show me a sign," I invoked, my voice a steady tremor. My heart felt tight in my chest. The chamber grew darker, shadows weaving intricate patterns that danced along the walls. I knelt before the doll, brushing away dirt and dust, as I desperately searched for a hint of connection. Time seemed to stretch infinitely. I could sense the mother's spirit swirling impatiently around me, willing me to uncover the truth. As I examined the doll more closely, I noticed a tiny inscription stitched into the fabric. Lily. A name echoed deep within me, a name that felt both innocent and heartbreaking, a name tethered to a fierce love. "Lily," I whispered, as understanding flooded my being. The woman, the mother, had gone to unimaginable lengths to protect her daughter, and in her desperation, she had lost not just her child, but a piece of herself. Suddenly, the shadows coalesced into a form, and a figure loomed before me, an apparition of the mother, tears shimmering like dew upon her cheeks, her energy palpable. "You found her," she breathed, her voice laced with grief and gratitude. "You found Lily." I locked eyes with the spirit, feeling the warmth of her pain merge with the shimmer of hope. "I'm here to help you both," I promised earnestly. "Let's find a way for you to be together again." In that moment, I knew that I had stepped beyond fear and into the realm of purpose, challenging the depths of despair for something greater, a reunification of a mother and her child that transcended time. The gravity of our intertwined destinies hung heavily in the air, a covenant forged in the crypt's sacred shadows. I would do everything in my power to help heal the scars that lingered from a past filled with betrayal and sorrow, forging a pathway from darkness to light for both our children. We were bound together in this desperate journey, and I would carry that weight, no matter the cost. The air crackled with a palpable energy as I stood before the apparition of the mother, her form flickering like a distant star, ready to fade. "I will help you find her," I promised again, feeling every ounce of warmth radiate from her sorrowful gaze. Her eyes, pools of loss, resonated with an urgency I could not ignore. "You have to show me where to go." "Behind the altar," she whispered, her voice trembling with longing. The shadows around us pulsated with purpose, indicating a hidden passageway that beckoned me closer. With a determined heart, I followed her lead through the suffocating darkness, stepping into the narrow corridor that lay beyond the altar. The further I ventured, the heavier the air became. Each breath was a struggle against the weight of memories, of pain and longing woven so tightly into the very fabric of the stones that surrounded me. As I pressed onward, I reminded myself that every step was leading me to a truth that could finally reunite mother and child. I emerged into a hidden chamber, the flickering light casting ghostly patterns on the walls. My gaze swept across the room, settling on an ornate chest resting against the far wall, its carvings intricate and aged. The air buzzed with expectation, hinting at the secrets contained within. I approached the chest slowly, my heart pounding with anticipation. The mother's spirit lingered beside me, her energy intensifying as I reached for the lid. "Open it," she urged, her voice barely above a whisper, but laced with an urgency that made my heart race. With a deep breath, I lifted the chest open, the hinges creaking in protest. Inside lay a collection of relics, a silver locket, a tattered diary, and a lock of hair wrapped in a delicate ribbon. Each item resonated powerfully, as if they were the key to binding our destinies together. First, I picked up the locket and opened it, revealing a tiny portrait of Lily, a radiant child whose innocence was captured in that small frame. My heart ached as I stroked the image, feeling the pure love emanating from it. "Lily," I breathed, tears welling in my eyes, imagining the joy of the mother holding her little girl. This moment would bring healing. I could feel it in my bones. Next, I reached for the diary. The pages were worn and yellowed, telling the stories of a mother's love woven in poignant prose. With each entry, the weight of despair wrapped around me tightly, detailing her relentless search for Lily, her fears echoing through the lines. They took her from me. My heart aches with every breath I take. Tears streamed down my cheeks as I read. It was a heartbreaking narrative born from loss, a fierce love that could not die, even in the face of despair. Meanwhile, the energy in the room shifted, the shadows swirling around the apprentice, drawing energy from my emotional response. "She's with me, isn't she?" I asked, more for the mother's sake than my own, hoping it would affirm our connection. "Yes," the mother's spirit said softly, almost a sigh, filled with both pain and hope. "You can feel her presence, can't you? She has always been here." What was once a solitary search now transformed into a shared mission, a bridge across time and loss. "If you can find her spirit, can you bring her back here?" I pleaded, yearning for our journey to culminate in a moment where love conquered the shackles of death. "I will try," she asserted resolutely, her form shimmering with determination. "You must call for her. Make her hear you." A surge of adrenaline coursed through me. This was the moment we had all been waiting for. "Lily," I shouted into the void, my voice resonating against the stone walls. "Come back to your mother! We're here for you!" The shadows danced with urgency, swirling as if inviting something long lost to return. Suddenly, the air grew cold, and I felt an overwhelming rush of energy, charged with anticipation. "Mama!" a voice echoed, sweet and pure, wrapping the room in warmth. The figure of a little girl began to coalesce within the shadows, a flickering image of innocence, hope, and joy materializing before my eyes. "Lily," the mother whispered, tears of joy cascading down her ghostly face. "You found me!" Lily exclaimed, her small form bursting into radiant light as she rushed toward her mother. I was awestruck, witnessing the embrace of spirits, a profound reunion that transcended time. "You promised you'd never leave me." Their forms mingled, weaving together like threads of fate, their energies merging into one as the room erupted with warmth. "My darling," the mother sighed, pulling Lily into her embrace. "I've missed you for so long." The shadows around us brightened, filling the crypt with the energy of love. Together, they danced. Two souls liberated from the chains of despair, flowing into a sacred bond forged through loss, but illuminated by a love that survived even death. "Thank you," the mother spoke to me, her voice a luminous echo of gratitude. "You brought us together when the world tried to keep us apart." In that moment of heartfelt unity, my soul felt lighter, and I understood that this was how love manifested itself, not to bind, but to free. Their reunion sparked something deep within me. Here lay the true strength. Love not only flourished in the living, but bridged the gap to the departed. I felt a sense of calm wash over me as I stepped back, allowing their connection to flourish, witnessing a cycle of love born anew. Suddenly, the weight of the locket in my hand reminded me of the journeys we all carried. I held it tight, knowing this relic of their love would remain part of my story. Watching Lily and her mother bask in their reunion, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude fill me. In this sacred space, darkness was transformed into light, and I understood that our paths intertwined for a reason. Now I carried their story forward, a tale of love that enveloped all, reminding those who walk this earth that we are never truly alone. The moment felt eternal. The shadows around me danced in joy as I turned to leave the chamber, whispering a final promise to the spirits that I would honor their love. "You will shine brightly in my heart," I vowed. And as I stepped back into the world above, the love shared in that crypt, rooted deep in grief yet blossoming into hope, would remind me of the power of faith forged in darkness. We were bound together by a covenant of love, an ever-expanding legacy that lit the way across generations. As I emerged from the crypt, the daylight flooded my senses, submerging me in warmth and relief. The air felt lighter, a stark contrast to the heaviness I had just shed. Each step away from the darkness carried the weight of transformative love, a promise renewed amidst the shadows. The healing of those souls lingered firmly in my heart, and I felt compelled to share that love with the world outside. I walked through the dense forest, each rustle of leaves whispering encouragement, as though nature itself acknowledged the sacred reunion I had just witnessed. I turned one last time to the crypt, its mouth now forever a portal between realms. "Thank you," I called softly, knowing the spirits of Lily and her mother would carry the tale of their love forward, an echo through time, unfading and resonant. Yet, the experience had awakened something deeper within, the desire to connect and help others bridge the chasms of grief that bind us all. The world beyond the trees felt vibrant and alive, tickling my senses with possibilities. I stumbled upon a vision of warmth, care, and community, the true essence of healing. Days turned into weeks as I engaged in a mission to honor the bond shared between Lily and her mother. I organized community gatherings in my town, forming a support group for those wrestling with loss. I found myself sharing tales of love, encouraging others to express their stories, weaving together a rich tapestry of shared experiences. It was here that I discovered the profound impact of connection. One particular Saturday gathering promised bittersweet resonance. Seated in a circle beneath an ancient oak, I encouraged participants to recount their memories of loved ones lost. A young woman named Sarah spoke hesitantly, her hands trembling as she clutched a faded photograph of her brother who died far too young. "I feel guilty for moving on," she confessed, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks. "I thought I'd forget him if I smiled." I noticed immediate nods of understanding ripple through the group, and my own heart ached for her pain. "You don't have to choose between remembering and living, Sarah," I assured, my voice steady despite the pull of grief I felt. "Your brother has left a mark on your heart, and that bond will never fade. Joy and sorrow can coexist." They enrich our lives and honor their memory. My heart swelled at the shared emotion binding us that day. As tears mixed with laughter, it was apparent that the healing process was both personal and collective. It was within these moments of shared vulnerability that love flourished, and I began to see just how interconnected we all truly were. Inspired, I continued fostering these gatherings, encouraging stories to flow like the waters of a river, sometimes filling us with sadness, at other times with joy. This vulnerability transformed the community around me. Friends comforting friends, sharing stories. It wasn't just healing hearts, it was building bridges. A month passed, and as I settled into my role as a gentle guide through grief, the strength I had drawn from the spirits in the crypt informed my approach. I crafted rituals that merged symbolism with the depths of love, fostering connection in a profound, meaningful way. Each ceremony was a testament to the power of remembrance, allowing us to set our champagne glasses ablaze each time we toasted not just those lost, but also the warmth of love that had borne witness to their lives. One evening, as the sun dipped toward the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, I found myself preparing for another gathering. My heart raced, anticipation swirling like the wind rustling through the trees. I could feel a stir in the air, a surge of energy that felt strikingly familiar. As the sun dipped lower, I welcomed the attendees, and Sarah soon nestled into her usual spot with a look of frazzled anticipation. The warmth shared in those circles felt electric, fostering connections that spread far beyond our immediate experience. This night, however, I planned to introduce an exploration of ancestral healing, a recognition of the strength carried through generations. Tonight, we honor not just those who have passed, but the lineage of love that has traveled along our family tree, I began, gesturing to a beautifully crafted tree chart hung on the wall. Let's weave together the stories of our families, offering insights across generations. Every eye lit up with intrigue. A ripple of stories poured forth, each one carrying echoes of joy and sorrow along the branches of our shared existence. It was there that I recognized the intertwining of our individual struggles, a delicate balance of love echoing through time. I listened in rapture as Sarah recounted memories of her brother's playful spirit, the little things that made his laugh ringing like wind chimes in summer. Others followed, their tales weaving a tapestry that flowed seamlessly from joy to sorrow, and then back to the light that lives in our hearts. And suddenly, an idea sparked. Let us honor our loved ones with an offering of light, a candle for every story shared, I suggested. The idea was welcomed with eager smiles, and soon we gathered supplies, preparing to create the most beautiful altar, a collective symbol of love and remembrance. As the candles flickered to life, illuminating the room with their golden glow, I felt my heart swell with hope. The light danced playfully beneath the branches of the oak, as if the spirits of the departed joined us in the celebration of life. We each took turns lighting a candle for our loved ones, exchanging knowing nods that bridged the gap from life to beyond, intertwining grief and celebration. In that sacred space, I perceived a wave of energy gathering momentum, growing stronger as love surged through us, an invitation for healing spirits to join our circle. Laughter intertwined with soft cries. It was an alchemy of emotions, the most beautiful symphony of connection that stunned me into silence. There, amidst the twilight, I sensed a familiar presence. It was fleeting, like the cool breeze that swept through, igniting the air with warmth and comfort. I knew instinctively that Lily's spirit danced with us, celebrating every shared memory and connecting every heart in the room. At that moment, I realized the eternal bond between all of us, the living and the departed. Each flicker of flame represented love, a loving embrace not bound by time but existing in a cosmic tapestry of connection. The grief we shared intertwined with luminosity. The grief, transformed with love, would guide us through. As we gathered our resolve, sharing in a final toast beneath the sky sprinkled with stars, we whispered names into the night, sending them forth with the promise that love transcended all. To love, to connection, to those who will always forge our way. I raised my glass. A chorus of voices surged, echoing affection, warmth, and remembrance. And as I looked at Sarah, her face aglow with understanding, I knew our lives, intertwined by laughter, sorrow, and unraveling tales, would ripple out into the universe, lighting the way for many others navigating similar journeys. In that singular moment of unity, I understood that love, transcending loss, would remain the enduring legacy we all strive to illuminate. The crypt, once a solemn space, had become a catalyst for healing, a sanctuary of purpose that would ultimately lead us into the light, traversing the uncharted realms between the living and the departed. With each candle flickering softly in the twilight, it was clear. Love would forever illuminate our paths and guide us home. Together, we had transformed grieving into living, a legacy that continued to thrive, lovingly cradled within the embrace of those who came before us. In our ever-expanding circle, we would always find light amid the shadows. As the flickering candles illuminated our faces, a soft breeze danced through the trees. The remnants of our gathering floated in the air, clinging to the warmth of shared stories and unspoken promises. I felt changed, yet grounded in the beautiful chaos of life that swirled around us, all minds and hearts entwined in the sacred experience we had created together. After the gathering, I took a moment to reflect on the night beneath the shimmering stars. The air buzzed with energy and life, the essence of love resounding in my chest. I felt Lily's spirit still with me, vibrant and playful, and I knew that she had joined the murmurs of the cosmos. My heart swelled with gratitude for the connections we had forged, a wondrous tapestry that grew thicker and more intricate with every story shared. Days turned into a blend of solace and purpose as I continued the community gatherings. Each meeting became a vibrant space for exploration, weaving together lives lost and found, the stories of those we once held dear, now illuminating the paths we walked. A shared song of existence arose from the depths of our souls, echoing through the quiet corners of grief. One night, deep in conversation with Sarah, we discussed the possibility of creating something tangible, a memorial space in the town that could honor the memories of those we had lost while providing solace to the living. It can be a beautiful garden, she suggested. Somewhere families can gather, rest, and reflect, their stories etched into every stone. I love that idea, I said, excitement flooding me. A sanctuary for healing. We could plant flowers for each loved one, a living tribute to the memories and stories that keep them alive in our hearts. As we both envisioned the sanctuary, I imagined the soothing colors of blooming petals, the fragrances wafting through the air as children played and families gathered. It would be a home for memories, a celebration of life and the bonds that endure in the wake of loss, a physical manifestation of love. With shared purpose igniting our spirits, we turned our thoughts into actions. We gathered the community again, mentally preparing ourselves for the inevitable tears and laughter as we shared the vision. That initial seed of an idea sprouted rapidly as more and more voices joined in, and our voices rose together in a chorus, firm and united. In weeks that followed, plans were laid out, the town's interest peaking. Support poured in from those who found solace in our gatherings. People shared connections, ideas, and resources, the flame of hope radiating once more. Children painted stones while adults cleared spaces, and soon we transformed a forgotten corner of a local park into an oasis of love and remembrance. As we began the physical work, it struck me how grief can simultaneously tear us apart and bring us together. In our labor, digging, planting, and creating, we were not only memorializing the past, but also sowing the seeds of connection for the future, giving life to a project that would positively impact countless lives. I felt a powerful rush of spirit among us, one that was tenuous yet unwavering. In every shovel of earth turned, every seed nestled into the ground, we fostered a tangible hope that would flower with time. I could sense the Spirit's approval, as if they whispered encouragement to us from beyond, joining our efforts with their own ethereal love. One sunny afternoon, as I stood amidst the blooming garden, my heart brimmed with joy and nostalgia intermingled. Sunlight illuminated the petals, each flower radiating life in celebration of the loving memories that surrounded us. But amid the beauty, I began to ponder the echoes of grief that still lingered. What about those still grappling with the heavy weight of loss? What about those who hadn't found their way through sorrow yet? "Sarah, I think we should host an open day here," I proposed one evening, gathering everyone to the stone circle at the heart of the garden. "Let's invite the entire community, not just those who already know us, but anyone who's ever felt the sting of sorrow. We need to remind them that they aren't alone in their grief." "I love that idea," she said seriously, a spark igniting in her eyes. "Let's open the garden, welcoming others to gather in remembrance and connection. It's a space for healing, a chance to share stories, to embrace each other's pain and joy." And so began the planning of our special day. The news spread like wildfire. I could feel the excitement surge through the community. Our garden was more than just a physical space. It had blossomed into a sanctuary for unburdening hearts amid a love that stretched across time and space. This open day would stand as a testament to resilience, to love, and to the connections that courageously move us forward. As the date approached, anticipation built in my chest like shaking leaves before a storm. Would people truly come? Would they find solace under the branches of our creation? I desperately hoped they would. On the day of the open garden, the sun poured down in gentle rays as I stood at the entrance, flowers blooming in joyful array. Families trickled in, some hesitant, their faces marked with sorrow, while others exuded warmth and familiarity. Sarah was right beside me, her smile reassuring. We had prepared ourselves as guides through the emotional landscape. One by one, visitors gathered. Some shared stories, their voices trembling in the air like melodies of healing. Others simply walked silently, allowing their emotions to mingle in the garden's embrace. We offered stones they could paint, an invitation to leave behind their marks, their memories, and their tributes in vibrant color. As I wandered, I came across familiar faces from previous gatherings, people who had come seeking understanding, connection, and community. I watched as Sarah helped paint stones with an elderly woman who had recently lost her husband. Their laughter rang out, weaving harmoniously like threads into the fabric of our shared experience. Suddenly, my attention was drawn across the garden, where I saw a little boy crouched beside a patch of flowers, animatedly telling a story to his mother about the bird nests, the color of the petals, and a firefly he had seen at dusk. I marveled at the innocence of children. It reminded me of the pure joy that fell so easily from our hearts before life's tragedies settled in. Then, that familiar breeze curled softly around me again, a gentle reminder of Lily's spirit swirling joyfully. It was as if she danced among the flowers, delighting in every heart she touched. I felt a surge of strength within, realizing she remained a guiding light, not only through her mother, but as part of the whole tapestry we were creating. As the sun began to set, casting brilliant hues across the sky, a collective hush fell over the garden as we gathered for a final moment together. I stood at the front, my heart overflowing with gratitude as I recognized the faces of so many who had chosen to show up for each other. "Thank you," I began, my voice steady but raw with emotion. "Thank you for coming, for sharing, for allowing this space to become a sanctuary of love and remembrance. Together, we cultivate the healing here today, not only for our past, but for the future we will forge." A soft wind swept through the gathering, echoing my words, creating a collective hush. Faces were illuminated, eyes gleaming with understanding and spirit, each candle in their hearts igniting with love, courage, and resilience. We were no longer alone. We were interwoven in the shared experience of life. As the darkness gently folded around us, I raised a small candle in my hand, joining voices in a harmonious entreaty. To love, to connection, to those we cherish and keep in our hearts. May we always find ways to bring their spirits alive. The soft glow of candles flickered in warm embrace, illuminating the vibrant colors of the garden and reflecting the love we held for those lost. Where shadows once lingered, light now danced, an eternal testament that even amid profound loss, love remained unwavering and infinite. And as we concluded, I sensed the spirits of the departed with us, their love resonating throughout the garden, pouring back into our hearts, reminding us that we were never alone. Together, we had built something beautiful, a refuge where love transcended loss, a space where healing could blossom amid shadows. As the last of the candles flickered out, I knew our journey didn't end here. We had evolved. Together, we were a living testament to the truth that love persists, an eternal flame illuminating our souls, guiding us home. In the days following the candlelit gathering, the garden thrived, blooming brightly as if it were sharing in our joy. It became a living tribute, a sanctuary not only for memories, but for fostering connections among those still walking the path of healing. Each flower's emergence from the earth felt like an embrace, a reminder that love could flourish even in the depths of despair. As the seasons changed, the garden evolved, flowering under the gentle touch of rain and sunshine. It drew visitors from all walks of life, each person carrying their experiences of loss, hope, and resilience. The whispers of the departed seemed to linger, their presence woven into the petals and vines, their stories intertwined with our own. But there was something more at play, an unspoken energy that thrummed through the branches like a heartbeat, drawing me closer to its essence. I spent countless afternoons tending to the flowers, my hands in the soil, and I found solace in this labor of love. The act of nurturing life ignited something deep within, transforming my grief into palpable energy. One sunny afternoon, as I kneaded the soft earth around the roots of a periwinkle bloom, a familiar voice tugged at my consciousness, a gentle refrain that felt both haunting and sweet. "Mommy," it whispered, light as a feather yet anchored in profound love. I paused, the tremors of recognition surging through me as I felt Lily's spirit brush against my heart, guiding me to an understanding I had yet to decipher. I turned towards the center of the garden, the breeze stirring with more intensity, urging me to look. There, partially hidden beneath the boughs of the willow, I saw a delicate cluster of wildflowers I had never planted. Their vibrant petals sparkled as if woven with sunlight, and an inexplicable urge drew me closer. "This is a gift," I whispered, kneeling to inspect the flowers. "Is this you, Lily?" The energy pulsed around me, vibrant and affirming, and a soft warmth enveloped my soul. A rush of understanding washed over me. This wild cluster was her way of communicating with me, a manifestation of her timeless love and presence. With a heart swollen with gratitude, I decided to honor this moment. I would cultivate a special area in the garden for these wildflowers, a sacred spot where all could come and feel the connection to their loved ones. I envisioned a simple wooden plaque inscribed with the words, "In this garden, love knows no bounds." As the days passed, the garden continued to heal not just myself, but everyone who visited. More shared their stories, and the garden blossomed with markers of remembrance. A tangle of mementos adorned the boughs, each representing a heartache, a memory that now shared the weight of love. One evening, under the velvet sky bathed in stars, I hosted a smaller gathering in the garden with families who had been deeply impacted. We came together, not just as a support group, but as a community of love, I shared Lily's wildflowers, the story of their unexpected emergence, and how they became a symbol of connection beyond dimensions. Every flower has roots that connect underground, I observed, a subtle reminder of how our spirits touch one another, regardless of time and space. Just as these wildflowers appeared to remind me of love's persistence, let us remember that our departed ones stay with us in the most unexpected moments. The evening rippled with emotion. One woman grasped her hands together tightly, tears glistening in her eyes. "I always thought that if I let go of the grief, I would lose my daughter entirely," she admitted, raw honesty illuminating the space. But perhaps letting go just means allowing love to flourish in new ways. We all nodded, tears mingling with smiles as we embraced the duality of grief and joy. The stories flowed like a gentle stream, every shared memory weaving the fabric of our connections tighter. Amidst laughter and sorrow, I realized we were becoming the wildflowers ourselves, sprouting hope in the wake of despair. As time passed, the garden became a local beacon, a cherished haven for grieving families and individuals seeking solace. Each visit felt like a reunion of souls, where love intertwined with life and loss became a part of something larger. Weeks later, as I tended to the new blooms and added fresh markers of remembrance to the garden, I felt that same gentle presence once more, a familiar breath against my skin, a reminder that this journey had only just begun. One afternoon, while pulling weeds, I felt a sudden chill, the sun concealed briefly by clouds, and the air thickened with anticipation. The garden felt alive, an energetic pulse thrumming beneath my feet, guiding me toward the willow tree once again. I approached it deliberately, heart racing with excitement and apprehension, as if something significant were about to unfold. Beneath the willow, I discovered a small wooden box nestled among the roots. My breath caught, and curiosity surged as I knelt down, brushing away fallen petals and leaves. The weathered box held the allure of secrets, years of stories hidden away in silence. With shaky hands, I opened the box, revealing a collection of items wrapped in delicate linen. A faded photograph, a piece of jewelry, a letter, each from families that had once mourned their own losses but found solace here among our shared threads of remembrance. Overwhelmed by the profoundness of this hidden treasure, I understood that the box represented the very heart of the garden, a blend of sorrow and healing, a testament to the truth that love persists through every hardship. As my fingertips brushed over the items, I felt the weight of their stories and the loving presence of those departed, lingering forever within the protective embrace of the willow. These objects belonged to others who had found hope in darkness, just as I had found Lily. In that moment, a vision blossomed in my mind. The garden could be a permanent home for these treasures. I would craft a wall adorned with cherished memories, a collage of stories that would serve as a reminder that love remains, always encouraging us to cherish and uplift one another. That night, pouring my heart into the burgeoning dream, I sketched designs for what would become the memory wall, a place for families to honor the spirit of their loved ones, to leave behind trinkets that carried the weight of love and sorrow, connecting us in inexplicable ways. With each visit that followed, I saw the garden transform further into something extraordinary. The memory wall flourished into existence, adorned with personal mementos, photographs, and heartfelt notes left behind with flickering candles. It became a vibrant tapestry of stories and love filled with countless lives, anchoring them to the earth while elevating their spirits. The garden and the wall united everyone who walked through those gates, giving birth to something that transcended the ordinary, a profound reminder that our loved ones never truly leave. They linger through the petals, the whispers in the wind, and the stories we carry forward. As the sun dipped low over the horizon, I looked over the garden, now a vibrant testament to the enduring legacy of love. Here lay the truth. Beyond loss was a profound ability to grow, to share, to find strength and solace in the memories we cherished, even amid sorrow. The garden flourished, a sanctuary of love that became something miraculous, a living portrayal of connection and perseverance, a reminder that life and love weave the brightest tapestry, one stitch after another, binding us through joy, loss, and everything in between. As the seasons turned, the memory wall blossomed into a cherished landmark within our community. People flocked to the garden, drawn by its rich tapestry of memories and the emergent need to connect with their loved ones. Each new addition, trinkets, photographs, heartfelt letters, made the wall a living memorial, echoing with the stories of those we lost and loved. One bright spring morning, Sarah appeared at the wall, clutching a small cardboard box close to her heart. "I brought something to add," she said, her voice trembling. It was my brother's bracelet. As she placed it among the mementos, I felt a rush of energy envelop us. It was as if the spirits of our departed smiled down, grateful for this act of remembrance. The garden transformed from a simple space into a sacred ground where love became the strongest bond. With each visitor who contributed their own items, the atmosphere shifted, fostering an overwhelming sense of unity and healing. Stories unfolded like petals in bloom. People shared laughter interwoven with tears. When Sarah spoke of her brother's laughter, the air hummed with resonance. The stories brought us together. One elder who had come to honor his wife revealed a collection of postcards from her travels. "These are her words," he said, voice shaking but determined. "She loved to explore. I want her spirit to roam the garden." With unwavering grace, he secured the postcards next to Sarah's bracelet, further intertwining their stories with our collective memories. Soon after, I noticed how this gathering of hearts transformed us all. Each story shared became a thread that wove into the fabric of grief and joy, reminding us that our loved ones remained in spirit, urging us to continue to live freely. As we welcomed brave strangers to the garden, their hesitations melted away, replaced by earnest, heartfelt exchanges. Many traveled from beyond our town, drawn by the tales of love and connection. They too began to add their tokens of remembrance, slowly creating a mosaic of life illuminated by memories, an ever-expansive metaphor for healing. One rainy afternoon, a shy mother approached the wall, cradling an old teddy bear. "This belonged to my son," she shared, her voice barely a whisper. "I hope it brings him comfort." With reverence, she placed the bear alongside other cherished items. It felt as if the garden embraced each new addition, welcoming their burdens into a united space where love transcended sorrow. This shared journey transformed the wall, turning it into a sanctuary for healing, a space where grief merged with hope. As each day passed, the memory wall thrived and flowers bloomed infinitely around it, creating a radiant reflection of love and remembrance. I found solace there, spending long hours tending to the ever-growing space and supporting all who visited. One evening, as I lingered under the twilight sky, I couldn't shake the sense of change in the air. It was a quiet stir, almost electric, suggesting that something significant lay ahead. Just then, a gentle breeze caressed my cheek, bringing with it whispers that felt strangely familiar. "It's time," it seemed to say. In that moment, I knelt before the wall, feeling the weight of countless stories pressing against my heart. I vowed to carry those memories forward, nurturing them as seeds planted in fertile ground. With that conviction, I conceived a plan to host a community event, a day of storytelling where families could come together to remember and share, united by the spirit of love that had flourished in the garden. As word spread, excitement bubbled within our community. We would gather under the sun, each person free to tell their story. This endeavor would weave our lives together, strengthening the bonds of love that ran through both the living and the departed. On the day of the event, vibrant hues adorned the garden as the sun illuminated our gathering. Laughter and conversation filled the air as families united around the memory wall. I stood at the forefront, sensing the energy of our stories intertwining like the roots of the wildflowers. Today, let us honor those we have lost while celebrating the love they continue to give. I began, my voice steady yet filled with emotion. Stories unfolded like petals, revealing the beauty within each life. With every heartfelt tale shared, the gentle breeze returned, stirring the leaves above us, reminding us of the presence of our loved ones, guiding us through sorrow into a future filled with hope. As the sun dipped low in the sky, I looked around to see tears mingling with smiles, each expression a testament to the myriad of emotions we shared. Together, we had cultivated a sanctuary of love, bridging the realms of life and loss, teaching us that memories do not fade, they flourish. And so, the garden thrived, emitting a radiant glow that encompassed everything, a magnificent reminder that while grief may tether us to the pain of absence, it is love that frees us, allowing our spirits to soar in unity. In the heart of that vibrant oasis, I understood the true essence of our journey, that while life intertwines joy and sorrow, love remains the enduring thread that, woven together, forms the most exquisite tapestry of all.